a global health crisis becomes a global economic crisis. In any health crisis, our first concern is and should be with the health of those affected. As a chamber, we speak for the business community across the board, but our main focus is the small traders and the communities they serve. We stand today with fellow chambers, like I mentioned before, of China, Dubai, Britain, and in absentia, France and Estonia, and also the Ministry of Health, represented by the CAS, Ms. Mwangangi, and all based in Nairobi. The pharmaceutical industry as well, Dr. Zhuo, who led the Ebola action, and the Zhuo to support business in government to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 on our citizens. Today we stand not just as business people, but individuals with families, and the absolute realization this virus has far-reaching effects that go beyond profits. In this regard, we have come together to find a joint action mechanism to rapidly co-create solutions, share best practices, and focus on supporting the resilience of those who are most vulnerable across companies, value chains, and in the communities in which they operate. Now, we recommend actions as follows. The creation of an emergency stimulus fund to be disbursed through the money transfer service to the marginalized and the served population. These demographic shall be the hardest hit as they depend on daily wages. This means that it is to encourage those that earn daily wages, the elderly who do not work to stay at home, provide them with a stipend for 20 days as we monitor the situation. Because we all know that those bigger population here in Nairobi and across the country, people go to seek for jobs, opportunity for jobs, just for the expenses, daily expenses. And therefore, together, if we join hands, the private sector, the Ministry of Health, development partners, and we see means and ways of getting a kitty to support this sector so that we can encourage them to stay at home during this period. Through KNCCI's partnership with Sharjah Chamber, we shall provide interest-free LPO financing for the UAE markets, which shall enable traders to expand this sourcing market and have access to finance. The scheme shall provide a credit period for 60 to 180 days and provide 80 to 100% credit facility. This is subject to due diligence, and companies must have audited accounts. It shall take 7 to 10 working days to process the facility. The immediate provision of water and sanitary services to those in the Zhuo sector and the communities around them through introduction of common hand washing points, and this is to encourage and promote sanitation. We are part of the National Business Compact on COVID-19, who are rolling out a hand washing campaign. We encourage the county governments and businesses to provide water via their water bowsers in the short term as they move to install piped water in these areas as a long-term solution. We encourage local manufacturers to identify alternative suppliers in non-impacted regions of the world to diversify the supply chain and limit dependencies on any one supplier of geographic region. Identification of alternative markets for imports to support manufacturing shall be done through the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Network. And that is the African markets, which are, for example, COMESA, we have SADC, we have the Great Lakes region, and we have ECOWAS, and now the African Continental Free Trade Area. KNCCI Certificate of Origin data has shown a 10% decline from January to March. Shows the challenges faced in export markets. The flower market in Northland last week saw 20% of the supply destroyed because there were no buyers, and forecasts for the next bit are even worse. Kenya is the lead exporter of roses to the European Union with a market share of about 38%. Approximately 50% of Kenya's exported flowers are sold through Dutch auctions. This period is usually peak season for flower sales because of the Mother's Day celebrations.